We understand that the climate is changing on the planet, that life is responding to those changes, and that occurs in the ocean no less than it does on land. We hope to understand things like how is the sea level of the ocean changing? Are the waves in the ocean changing? Is the wind forcing in the ocean changing? I've been part of the Ocean Observatory's initiative since 2003 when I became involved in the planning effort. And at that point, I've been putting out oceanographic moorings, through the early part of my career. And it was obvious to me that once you started adding different types of sensors, you could start to address a much larger range of scientific questions. For the work that's being done off of Oregon and Washington, a lot of those science questions hinged on ecosystem health, on global climate change, on changes in weather, and more specific things like hypoxia, that's low oxygen in the ocean, and ocean acidification. And so that kind of really set those big science questions were the drivers for the mooring arrays that we're putting out here. A mooring is basically a platform that is anchored to the bottom of the ocean. That platform could be at the surface all the time, and you could have a buoy on top of it going down to an anchor. Or you could even have a mooring that has a float that is tethered somewhere beneath the surface.
For me, still at this point, I think the scale of these buoys is so impressive. They're so large, they're so heavy. Anytime we do a successful deployment where we get everything in the water without any lines getting snagged or sensors getting hurt, I'm pretty happy about that.
We've built these moorings that carry instrumentation. That type of instrumentation can look at things that are happening in the atmosphere, like the winds, the air temperature, how much sun we're getting on a given day. They can also look at things that are beneath the surface. So we can look at the water temperature, how much salt's in the water, how much chlorophyll's in the water, how much noise is in the water, all that kind of stuff as well.
So I would say the deployments are pretty satisfying because we get to see brand new clean stuff go out and start gathering good data. The Sikuliak is probably as good as ship can be for our purposes. It has kind of an aircraft carrier style deck on the back with tons of space, so we can take a lot more of our gear at one time, which means that the legs of the cruise can extend a little bit longer. So the ship has this incredible A-frame that can come all the way down to the deck and allow you to switch out the blocks or the pulley-like things on the A-frame that allow you to overboard gear, and they have very cool knuckle cranes that allow you to pick things up and move them all around deck without having to lift them, have too much wire out on the crane, which allows it to swing a lot more on deck. So it's a pretty premier ship for doing mooring work. I've been on every one of the Ocean Observatory's initiative cruises, so this is our 9th cruise, so been on all of those, and then a lot of cruises before for other projects as well.
I think with OOI, this is probably my 6th or 7th cruise, but I've been a marine technician for 9 years, so I've been on many science cruises. The fun parts to me are the scary parts, I guess.
When we deployed the Washington offshore mooring, unfortunately during the deployment, one of the lines we were using to control the buoy snagged in one of the sensors on the buoy tower. And when it did that, it kind of folded over one of the clamps holding it in place. We decided, given the good conditions, that we could go out on a small boat, which has to be lowered from the second, third deck of the ship by crane down into the water, and then go out and climb on top and replace the clamp that was holding it, so that the wind data that is very important for fishermen and scientists as well could be of the highest quality.
What we need to do is shut the wind turbines down before folks can get on the buoy. Do the launch and then kind of motor out there and then just wait for the word on the radio. Might be the fastest way to do it, but we're not pressed for time either, so.
I'd like to, so you can get on.
Do I need to be on the buoy to hand things off?
That's why I think it'd be nice to have you on the buoy.
Yeah.
I don't,
And
hopeful
then-
that without the harness, John won't have to climb.
Yeah. You should need to. It's not.
Okay. It's good with you guys.
Great.
I wasn't entirely sure if we'd be able to get up on top of the buoy because they move quite a bit in the water. They can bounce around a fair amount. The seas are really calm today, and the wind was it was not very windy, so it was a good time to attempt it.
If it looks easy enough to get on and avoid them, we'll continue. If it doesn't, we'll stand off.
When things go wrong and you have to use the assets that you have to think your way through how to solve the problem, that's probably my favorite part. Like chaos happening and then finding your way out of the chaos.
Permission to launch. Here we go.
One of the things that I enjoy most is seeing everybody kind of come together to solve really complex problems.
The small boat pulls up to the buoy, and you basically just have to grab onto something and just time it correctly so that you don't slip off. Be really focused about what you're doing with your body so that you don't slip or something, because there's so much motion happening.
We went out today, we're able to climb up into the tower and repair the sensor, and now everything's working. So. What's always amazing to me out at sea is how everybody can find a way to contribute to the work effort. Kind of fitting everything on deck is really it's like a big puzzle trying to get everything to work, to safely move it about the ship and then get it out into the water. So there are a lot of steps to that, and the people that are on deck are the people that really kind of make everything happen.
One that you just did, but just inside, and then once you're to your third wrap, you're getting slightly further away each time.
You know, a lot to be said for many hands make light work out there, and I find that our crew is able to jump in anywhere and help with anything, whether or not it's that person's expertise. Without the chief scientists and all the principal investigators, none of the science goals are met. And without the people like me, the technicians, the mooring operations people, nothing actually gets put in the water.
we're trying to build a real-time presence in the ocean that's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And we're trying to make that data available to scientists in real time. We're trying to build a system that they can use, not only the data that comes off the system in real time, but also a system that can be adapted so that they can change the sampling rates and the types of sampling that are done on the system. So in essence, it's kind of like building a telescope to look at the ocean, but a telescope that's going to be available all the time.
I think it's important to have a long-term data series so that scientists can see small changes, and those databases are valuable because they can be mined for all kinds of different kinds of research.
This was a very ambitious project, 25 years, trying to look at some of the larger questions of how the oceans are changing over time. So it's a really cool project in that sense.
By making this data available in real time, we hope that it will spark more interest in the ocean. What we want is for scientists to feel comfortable about using OOI data and incorporating it into their research. So people that are interested in safe conditions for boating or fishing can look at the OOI data in near real time. We're interested in making that data available for policymakers. So if there are some different legislative issues that concern the ocean, they'll have the available data to make the best possible decisions.
Given that this project is a 25-year project, it's a situation in which we really want to continuously improve. I think every time we go out and deploy a mooring, we learn something, regardless of whether it's the same ship or a different ship. We bring that information back and integrate it, and we keep trying to make sure that each 6-month deployment is done better and provides higher quality data each time.
We've built a lot of the pieces and parts of OOI to be expandable. So as time goes by, if a scientist has a new sensor that they would like to put on our moorings, something that can measure something new and different, that might tell us something really unique about the ocean, would like to encourage people to contribute to what's going on in the OOI, and would also like to have people build experiments around the OOI.
My hope for the future of the OOI cruises is that they maintain their sense of adventure, but also we can keep bringing back the best data we can.